Never expect somebody to come up on the shoulder. There's CHP right beside. So now you've seen CHP close the gap. There's two vehicles right behind. So they are in pursuit right behind, but they're periodically they will allow some space between that CRV and the officers, they're right behind.
Absolutely. And, you know, these drivers are seeing the CHP, which is helpful because if you are on a commute, you are listening to something other than the news, you don't know this is coming up behind you. So it really gives you an indicator that there is something, be aware. And then when you see this black CRV just blow past you, you know that there's a pursuit happening. But still, it's very unsettling to know what to do in this situation. I always think I'm going to stay in the same lane because you never know. These drivers, they're trying to get away from authorities. They're going to do anything they can. They're going to weave in and out of traffic. But the best thing about the CHP involved in this, the CHP is so well versed in police pursuits on the freeway. They are the California Highway Patrol. They know how to do this. They keep having all these other CHP officers in position to get on to the freeway, give somebody a break, an officer, so just in case they have fresh set of eyes, fresh set of wheels, they always have their watch commander knowing, do we need to go into tracking mode? This driver seems, even if they don't see law enforcement behind them, they either know they're being watched, but they are driving so dangerously fast right now. Well,
one thing that you will see on occasion, now it may not be possible today, but there will be times where CHP might actually get in front of this vehicle. And that helps the commuters because you can actually be in front of this vehicle. We've lost the signal there. And then CHP, then you see the lights and siren as a commuter. You'll notice that something is going on, and then the pursuit suspect will come and they will be beside you. So we've lost the signal here for a moment. We're getting word that this started as a theft with Ventura County Sheriff, and CHP took over a little before 11, and that is when we joined the chase. So we're not quite sure if we're going to be able to get that signal back, but the pursuit suspect was on the 210. They went through Sunland, and we know that CHP is in close pursuit. So we don't know if we're going to be able to get that shot back. We are just now coming up on Eyewitness News at 11 a.m., which is the top of the hour. Do we want to continue and wait, or do we want to continue with our show? It looks like we've gotten the picture back, so we might be able to get back on the chase as we start Eyewitness News at 11 a.m.
Absolutely. Again, you're watching this police pursuit. We've been on it for a few minutes now, watching this driver really take some dangerous moves on the freeway. We know the CHP is now taking over this pursuit. But again, we're going to see what they're going to do. Will they put this in tracking mode? Because if they put it in tracking mode, it sort of gives a little bit of thought that they will sort of de-escalate the driver and how fast this driver is going.
Well, it looks as if Sheriff is involved with this from above, but I don't know that they're in tracking mode right now because CHP is close on pursuit right behind. You can see the officers in their cruisers right behind. But this guy is continuing to weave onto the shoulder frequently, and that's that uneven ground that we worry about at this rate of speed. Very easy to lose control with the uneven surface when he goes off onto the edge. And again, you're also creating an environment where a person on a regular commute is never expecting somebody at 100 miles an hour to pass them on the shoulder. When that was did you see how quickly he switched lanes? He did lose control. Yeah. He lost control, hit somebody just under that bridge, and you saw them, and there's a significant amount of damage. Airbags have deployed there. Now officers are going to have to, first off, make sure that this person is not a threat to them, but they're going to need to make sure he's okay. He might have hit that vehicle right there. But again, it was that quick lane change that we saw. He very quickly went across lanes, and it looked as if, because it happened so fast under that bridge, that he might have hit him, and it did appear as if he hit him, and so it almost ripped half of the vehicle off. So we see that the driver's side airbags have deployed. You see CHP is now closing in, and it does appear that they're going to try to, they're going to have to get medical personnel here to make sure this person's okay.
No, and this is very dangerous for the CHP right there, trying to come up to a theft suspect. You don't know if they're armed. You don't know the condition of them. And then you really are trying to make sure with, you know, they were taking you on a chase, but you want to make sure this person is okay. And boy, the impact that person had on, it looks like, you know, that truck right there, you know, no competition between the two. And that CRV really took a beating on that side.
Okay, you can see that CHP has, the officers have taken the person out of the vehicle. We're not going to zoom in very closely because we do not know the condition of the person. And in all likelihood, the damage to that vehicle, there will be injuries to the person. We want to be very cautious that we don't offend anyone with the visuals, but they are going to try to get medical treatment to this person as quickly as possible. But there was a high rate of speed when that person in the CRV hit that. It appears as if they hit that truck. I don't know if we can turn that video around as quickly as possible, but there was an accident with that vehicle when they came under that overpass. It was very difficult for us to see from the angle. Air 7 was right above it, and the driver had been switching lanes all across lanes, went onto the shoulder, and then was trying to make a switch back across lanes, and it just appeared as if they had hit something. We couldn't quite see it, but it did appear that way. And then as we got another view, here it is right here, you could see them making the weaves. The director said something in my ear. This is not the crash. This is just some of the video that we were showing earlier. But we just lost sight of it just for the briefest of moments. But it appeared to me that we almost saw the crash when he hit that truck.
Yeah, and it was when they were going under an overpass, and we were just reestablishing our connection with Air 7. But again, it was such a violent crash. I don't know if we actually got it, Philip, because again, we were speaking and we had reestablished our connection, and then it happened. And it looks like there's two cars that pulled over, that orange truck and then that silver car behind the sedan. So I'm not sure if that car hit two people and they were both involved. Again, we're looking at some of the earlier video of the driver really moving fast on the freeway. And we know that this driver was, you know, Sky Map 7 was clocking this driver well over 100 miles an hour. But again, sometimes if you are, Sky Map is right over the car, you can't get the actual speed.
And now we're going to be able to, it is at Del Mar and Rincon, that's in Pasadena. So if you're on the 210, you need to be aware that this is going to be a long playing incident, but we're going to try to replay the incident as it happened. It's going to be a massive backup for some time. Be aware of that. But take a look at what we saw as it happened. You see that he goes up under that overpass, and it did hit the truck. He hit the truck and likely hit someone else, Colleen, as you mentioned. But the damage to the vehicle, you almost had to believe that it hit that dump truck because he was just, the high rate of speed just ripped it apart. And so now they're trying to render aid to this person. But it happened so fast because the vehicle was traveling at such a high rate of speed. But now that the accident and the chase is over, this is going to be a long playing incident for anyone that has to go into the area of Pasadena. If you're near Del Mar and Rincon in Pasadena, this is going to shut down this freeway for some time. The backup is just now beginning.
I know, and this is an area that most people aren't expecting traffic. The 210 is always one of those perfect freeways, rarely has a lot of traffic, except for in true commuter times. And this is going to really impact a lot of people because we know that an investigation like this is going to take hours. And if it's a fatality, it's going to take even longer.
Well, in many cases, people might use this to avoid the 134.
Yeah.
You might go up that way and go around. Now, we have not seen any medical personnel yet. They're just arriving, if you notice at the top of your screen there. So not sure how they'll be able to get up to the officers where they are. One more time in our ear?
Bruce Thomas, actually, our law
They are,
enforcement
okay, the CHP officers are performing CPR. So again, we're not going to zoom in on that. So again, significant injuries, but that is to be expected with what we have there. So do you want to bring in Bruce Thomas?
Yeah, let's talk to Bruce Thomas. Bruce, you are a law enforcement expert. You have seen many of these chases, and you can see the firefighter have arrived on the scene. I'm not quite sure.
Significant injuries. We want to just...
Oh, I didn't see it, thank goodness. I'm one of those people who likes to see any part of that. But Bruce, thanks again for always joining us and giving us a little insight into, did you see this chase, and what were your thoughts at the rate of speed this driver was taking?
Yeah, the rate of speed was just exorbitant. I mean, to go over 100 miles an hour, if it's a stolen car, what's the purpose? I mean, ultimately, you have a misdemeanor crime, which is now turned into a felony crime, a felony pursuit.
Yeah, and again, I think this driver suffered some severe injuries. Again, we know this originated with Ventura County Sheriff's Department, and a theft was the original want for this suspect. What the theft was, what initiated this exact situation, we don't know, but that driver was trying to get away from authorities, and then the CHP came in. And we know the CHP, they're very good at these chases as well, Bruce. And maybe one other thing, while you talk about the CHP and how they sort of, it's like a perfectly choreographed dance that they know how to follow these drivers, even when these drivers are driving really dangerously.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. It is so well choreographed. The handoffs to another CHP station, the communication involving CHP, the outlying agencies and the mutual aid. It is like a choreographed dance. And as we know, most of the time the suspects do not get away.
And Bruce, you don't want to move on too quickly from this, but trying to tell people who are caught up in a commute, and I don't mean to be too callous to what has happened here, if this becomes a fatality and we're looking at significant injuries for this person, that's going to add to the length of time before this freeway reopens, correct? I mean, if this had just been an accident and they were able to take this person into custody and move the vehicle off to the side of the road, that opens the freeway back up. But if this person is seriously injured, possibly a fatal accident, that can take hours, correct?
That's correct. If it does turn into a fatal accident, you've now compounded a criminal investigation, which is the pursuit, and then add the fatal accident investigation on top of that. And if you look where the CHP car is in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, there is some debris and some skid marks. So that all has to be measured and calculated, photographed. And so that just shuts down the freeway even longer.
Yeah. And Bruce, I know that we at least have seen two cars. We see that orange dump truck that's right up on the front, right by where the CHP cars are located, and we can see where the accident happened. Obviously, the driver's staying in their car. They're talking with the CHP right now. And then there's another car that's behind them. It's sort of a dark gunmetal gray kind of car that's just right there. Air 7, thank you. And obviously, that driver's talking with CHP. What kind of situation does it involve with them? Because obviously they're not at fault in something like this. Insurance will obviously look at this as well. But, you know, I feel for them because they're so innocent in this situation, and I don't know how does it work with law enforcement as well when it comes to something like this?
Yeah, you know, they're just driving along, minding their own business, so to speak, and this all comes upon them, and now it creates a huge quagmire for the people driving on the freeway, plus those people involved in the accident. You know, like anything, you give your license, registration, insurance, and all that. Is your vehicle drivable? Do they have to wait for tow trucks? The same with the dump truck. So it just becomes an investigative, you know, a type thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for those commuters right there. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to stay on top of this. We're going to find out any new information and obviously bring it to our viewers